Welcome to Joe's Recaps. In this video, we are going to comment a movie called Edge of Tomorrow. The Earth is invaded by aliens, and the war has begun. An alien race called Mimic attacked Earth and Europe. News broadcasts describe how mimics have ruined the continent, losing battle after battle for over 5 years. The NATO-led United Defense Forces finally won a victory at Verdun, France.
For more videos like this, subscribe and click the notification bell.
A new mechanized combat suit has changed the balance of power. UK Special Forces Sergeant Rita is known as the Angel of Verdun. After killing hundreds of mimics single-handedly, she becomes an instant icon for the human military. Major William Cage of the US Army is one of the heads in the media to tell Vertovsky's story and boost the war effort. Cage wakes up on a helicopter trip to London the morning before the invasion of France begins. He meets with the commander of the Western Allies, General Brigham. Cage thinks Brigham needs help to boost his public image or prepare for a post-war political career. Instead, the general orders Cage to lead the front, but Cage doesn't seem too enthusiastic. He's a major in advertising and has no experience in battle. Cage tries to avoid the order and blackmails the general using his media skills, but General orders the soldiers to catch him. Cage tries to flee, but the guards taser him. Cage wakes up on a pile of duffel bags in the afternoon at the airport. It's now a huge military base for the big mission in Europe. The morning starts with the sergeant kicking Cage and calling him a maggot. Cage wants to use a phone. Then Sergeant Farrell approaches and takes Cage to a phone call, but the telephone booth looks like a camp prison. Obviously Farrell has orders from General Brigham that describe Private Cage as a deserter who has impersonated as a major. Cage is assigned to a group of soldiers called J Squad. They'll be leading a mission tomorrow. Sarge instructs him to get Cage ready to deploy tomorrow. Cage takes a physical training. The next day Cage seems nervous. Cage is given a battle suit, but the J Squad treats him like dead meat and doesn't even teach him how to use it. As the J Squad is about to drop from aircraft onto the French coast, an enemy weapon strikes the back of their plane, and the squad drops their load prematurely. The operation should have been a surprise attack, but mimics were entirely prepared to kill the humans. Sergeant Vertovsky lands near Cage while he's struggling to select a language for the suit. She fights like a brave man, but gets bombed. Suddenly, a mimic comes near the J Squad and kills all the members. Shocked Cage learns how to shoot and kills a mimic. But then a huge alpha mimic appears. He shows his Sigma nature, grabs a mine, and explodes when alpha mimic jumps on him. Just before Cage dies, the alpha's blue blood covers him. Somehow Cage wakes up in a panic in the same spot he was the day before. The same rude sergeant calls him a maggot, and Farrell again takes him to the J Squad. The Groundhog's Day continues, but Cage still doesn't know how to use the suit. Cage gets repeatedly deployed. This time, he manages to save Sergeant Vertovsky, but she takes his battery since he is gonna die. He dies again, and wakes up desperately trying to explain that the mimics will ambush the entire operation. But nobody believes him. Instead of being shocked by Cage knows everyone's name, they tape his mouth. No one listens to a private. Cage wakes up again and again on the same spot. With each time loop, Cage becomes slightly more pro at killing mimics and saving members of J Squad and unthankful Vertovsky, but mimics still kill everyone eventually. In one loop, he lasts long enough to have small talk with Rita. She seems to recognize the situation and tells Cage to find her when he wakes up, and they get killed again. Cage wakes up in the duffel bags again, but cooperates with Sergeant Farrell and J Squad to buy themselves time and find Rita. After several fatal attempts to slip away, Cage finally manages to get away during physical training and finds Rita in a training. She greets him rudely, like she always did. When Cage explains that Rita asked for him, she sneaks away with him. Apparently, what happened with Cage happened with her too. She was also covered in blue mimic blood and had a time loop ability. They got him a weapon warehouse where they met Dr. Carter. The doctor was an analyst in General Brigham's HQ and devised a theory. Mimics act not like an army, but as a single organism. The common mimics act like claws, and alphas are its central nervous system. There's also the brain, Omega. It controls all the mimics. When Alpha gets killed, Omega starts the day again, but it remembers what will happen just like Cage. So this Omega knows exactly what humans will do before they do it. And it also purposefully lost in Verdun, so humans would gather all the powers at one point. So Omega could kill them all at the same time. Rita was able to kill hundreds of mimics in Verdun. Rita had visions of the Omega, but never had a chance to meet it. Now, Cage controls the power to reverse time. She points out that he must repeat the loop until he has gotten some piece of information that will help them succeed. Then Rita goes to Omega and kill it. Cage gets a piece of combat training to succeed on his infinite mission, but gets his back broken. Rita also explains that she was wounded and gets a human blood transfusion. So alien blood lost effectiveness and broke the time loop. Cage must make sure he dies in the battlefield or in training, or she'll have to kill him to start over. And she kills him. Through many loops, Rita trains Cage. Sometimes kills him over his protest when seriously injured so he will resume the loop. Cage finally begins to see visions. Cage and Rita develop combat skills and proceed on the beach during the invasion. But despite their efforts, they both keep dying. Watching Rita die so many times make Cage emotional. During one loop, Cage gets too tired and prefers to go to a London pub. There Cage sees the Mimic's further step. Eventually, Carter finds the Omega. It is deep inside a dam in Germany. Now, they just have to make sure their 1,000 attempts will succeed, and they'll get to Germany. At least they have infinite chance. After multiple failures and death, Cage and Rita finally make it there. Cage slowly gathers details about Rita. They get to a farmhouse where Cage tries to stay away from proceeding as long as possible and enjoy time with Rita longer. Rita realizes Cage is trying to coax her to stay in there. Cage admits that they have been there quite a few times before. But Rita dies every time, and he tries to prevent her from dying again by going alone. Shocked and offended at this behavior, Rita intentionally gets them killed. He could finish the mission already, but got too emotional on her. Cage gets tired of seeing his love murdered hundreds of times, and decides to go alone. He finally arrives to the German dam alone, but finds nothing. There is only a surprise Mimic trap. This time, they don't kill Cage. He almost gets captured before he manages to drown himself. In the following loop, Cage, Rita and Carter understand the vision is a trap. Mimics know who Cage is, and they will do everything to get him. It turns out Carter invented a device that could locate the Omega. It must be stabbed into an alpha. In this case, Cage is an alpha, but they need to get the transponder from a safe in General Brigham's office. After hundreds of loops, they finally persuade Brigham to give them the transponder, but he sends troops after them. In another loop, they gets it, and Rita stabs the transponder into Cage's leg. And Cage finds the true location of the Omega, deep under the Louvre Museum in Paris. They try to escape from the headquarters, but the car stopped by a soldier in a mechanical suit. So they knock out before she can kill Cage. Cage wakes up in a hospital under arrest. Unfortunately, he gets a blood transfusion. He can no longer loop in time. Rita helps Cage, and they escape. They only have several hours before the invasion without loop. They need a team on a one-end mission to Louvre. Cage thinks of J-Squad. He shocks the soldiers with his knowledge, while Rita adds credibility. So the squad steals an aircraft and flies to Paris. The team gets instructed to avoid killing the Alpha Mimic guarding the Omega, because that will cause the Omega to reset time. The team gets on fire on the way to the museum, and Mimics kill half of the team. Wounded and low on ammo, Cage, Rita, and the 3 remaining soldiers use the remaining engine power to slide the aircraft into the museum. The rest of the squad sacrifice themselves on the slide. However, Cage and Rita make it into the museum. There Rita tells Cage she will distract the Alpha Mimic while he drops a belt of grenades onto the Omega. Cage doesn't want her to get killed for real, but Rita thinks neither one of them will survive. So Rita kisses Cage. Rita goes to distract the Alpha Mimic, and Cage dives underwater to find the Omega. After a minute, Alpha catches and kills Rita. The Omega senses Cage and orders the Alpha to kill him. The Alpha comes and stabs him, but before he dies, Cage pulls the grenade pins and drops the grenade belt onto the Omega. The Omega explodes and dies, and the Omega's blood seeps into him like the Alpha's blood did. And Cage wakes up again. He is on the helicopter on the road to London, the morning before the invasion. He is going to meet General Brigham. He hears the celebratory sounds and sees a news conference. The general announces that a huge spooky energy blast was detected in Paris. Mimics are gone, and the human forces will operate a huge sweep through Europe the next day. He sees J-Squad doing physical training at the base. Finally, everyone treats him as an officer. Cage finds Rita, and she greets him with the same way as she has every time they meet in every loop. So Cage laughs. For more videos like this, subscribe and click the notification bell. And don't forget to hit the like button. Also, you can check our other videos. Enjoy and take care. Enjoy and take care. Enjoy